John of the Cross speaks about the benefits of such purification. First of all, it gives peace of mind. Suppose one has spent the day without speaking ill of others, without misusing the power to hear and speak, there is a tremendous inner peace. And also, such people are usually mild. There is a quietness, peaceful way of dealing with it, and brings comfort, light, purity, and strength. So, these purification of the five senses benefit our own personality, our own character, with oneself and in our dealing with neighbor and dealing with God. So the benefits are peace, mildness, comfort, light, and purity. We may also say, which ultimately ends in giving strength in our spiritual life. On the other hand, John speaks about the harm that could result if not purified. One is, in his own words, weariness. People who are exhausted, tired. One who goes, spend the day doing nothing except this wandering thoughts and wandering conversations, and finally they are fed up. They are tired. And such feelings torment the person. And it causes blindness in their dealings with others, especially in spiritual matters. Finally, there is defilement and lukewarmness. One who has got that kind of loose tongue, one who looks at indecent pictures and people, or intelligent overeating, and having immodest touch and so on. Finally, they defiled themselves. They defiled their character. They defiled their soul. And ultimately, these things will end in lukewarmness, lack of interest in spiritual matters. And after giving the benefits and the harm, John says this process of purification is a gradual effort. First, we have to find the serious defects, so-called mortal sins or grave sins, which are involved in the misuse of the five senses. Secondly, the venial sins may not constitute a mortal sin, still they are harmful to our spiritual life. Finally, imperfections, like people who are curious about knowing things, who are too talkative, who are attached to trifles, like room, dress, and so on. They are not sinful elements, but can also constitute some sort of imperfection in their spiritual life. And finally, John gives that principle that if a bird is tied with a thin thread or a cord, it cannot fly. Because we may have the excuse, but after all, it is not a mortal sin. Maybe at the most a venial sin. Or it's my weakness. But unless it is controlled, these things will not make us free. They will not make us fly to God, as a bird is tied with thin thread and thick rope. So this is the first challenge John of the Cross gives us. If you are serious and earnest about growing in life, prayer, to have that intimacy with God, anything that blocks our spiritual life must be controlled, regulated, and eliminated, though not eradicated. We cannot uproot it, but we can modify it, regulate it, control it. That's what John says. So his principle, todo nada, is to be understood in a very realistic sense. Todo means God is everything, nada means nothing, everything except God is nothing. That will be too challenging, too radical, but what he says, nada which is against the love of God must be controlled. May God give you that grace.